Welcome to Secret London number 5. Yes, we've had, 4 programmes so far, and here we are at the 5th, and you might wonder where I get my ideas from. Well, apart from having a huge range of Ordnance Survey maps covering the country, when I travel around the country, and particularly in London, then I pick up books like this. London's Secret Walks, for example, going to places away from the main tourist areas, or how about Secret London, the unusual guide there? Maybe questionable in some respects, but yes, it's very interesting anyway. And then I picked this up quite recently, Walking in London, Park, Heath and Waterside. It's the country walks in London, which of course I include in the programmes and in this one coming up. I picked this up some time ago, and incidentally, the cost of this book is 30 quid. Well, if it's on special offer, then I go ahead and buy it and then file it away in the library and probably forget all about it. This one, Hidden Treasures of London, is absolutely fascinating. And it might then lead me to places like this. Leighton House. Ever heard of it? Do you know where Leighton House is? It's in Kensington. So I paid it a visit. Now, I'm not going to give the game away. It's going to come at the end of this programme. But for now, I'm going to start in Smithfield at St. Bartholomew the Great Church. So come with me, won't you?
Just a short walk from Barbican Underground Station is the Priory Church of St. Bartholomew the Great. It survived the Luftwaffe bombing and the Fire of London, but did not fare so well when it lost most of its nave in the Reformation. Despite being swamped today by modern office blocks, it has one of the most impressive Norman interiors in inner London. In most cases, tripods cannot be used inside churches, but you may get away with a monopod. Nevertheless, the OM system OM5 has a very fine image stabilizer, where 1-second shutter speeds are possible. Very useful, as some of my commercial clients prefer me to stick to 200 ISO wherever possible, and although this often means working at full aperture, a hidden benefit of micro four thirds not often mentioned is increased depth of field when required. I show the settings for one of the images, but you still need the photographic eye based on, experience, particularly as adjustments in post-production are critical for a composition having high contrast. Do you recognise this building? It is Florin Court, but better known as Whitehaven Mansions, featured as the residence for Hercule Poirot, as portrayed by David Suchet for ITV. If curious, you will find it in Charterhouse Square, and it is worth the short detour when returning to Barbican Underground Station. But before you do, why not take a look at the Charterhouse itself? Charterhouse was founded as a Carthusian monastery in 1371. Its name is an anglicised corruption of Carthusian. The monastery closed down in 1537, later purchased by Sir Thomas Sutton, who endowed a school for 40 poor boys and an almshouse for 80 male pensioners. The school moved to Godalming in 1872, and today the Tudor house is still a home for 40 retired gentlemen. In recent years, it has opened its doors to the visiting public, who can view the gardens, cloisters and chapel. The door at the entrance to the chapel was damaged by an incendiary bomb in May 1941 and serves as a poignant reminder. I now reach the limits and heights in my productions, but only geographically. I am standing in the London Borough of Croydon, but the other side of the fence is in Surrey. This is Whitehaven Bank, adjacent to Kenley Airfield, and where I am standing is still considered as part of Surrey, even though back in 1965 Greater London spread its wings into the North Downs south of the capital. Similar claims on the North Downs were made next door at Bromley, the Greater London landscape now including High Elms, Keston Common and Down, home of Charles Darwin. These landscapes used to be in Kent. They are not far from my home, and living in neighbouring Surrey offers me the opportunity to visit these landscapes at most times of the year and in all weathers, something I am denied when photographing places further afield. I must confess that I had never heard of Leighton House, but that is one of the fascinating things about a secret London project, discovering new places, some I should have known about already. I now read that Frederic Leighton was regarded as one of the most eminent British artists of the late 19th century, part of the Holland Park Circle, an artistic community in Kensington. At least through ignorance, I can approach his achievements with fresh eyes, but I will stick to giving photographic advice. Frederic Leighton purchased the empty plot of land in 1864, the house evolving into a palace of art, combining domestic accommodation with spaces for collections. I will leave it to the guidebook, which is beautifully produced, to explain detail, and fortunately photography is permitted. No tripods or flash, and you may have to juggle your position with other people, which can become the main problem. My gear was modest, same as for St. Bartholomew the Great, shot the same day incidentally. The OM5 and 12-45 Pro lens, nothing else. I left the camera on program as by default, because of low light, it will use f4, the largest aperture, when required. But there was no need to bump the ISO above 200. Because of a variety of lighting, I also left the white balance on auto, saved to RAW, and then made any corrections in Lightroom. However, I controlled the metering. The dynamic range of most compositions was huge, and whilst there are several ways to control this, I prefer to spot meter near a highlight and correct any underexposure in Lightroom. Now this may raise the spectre of noise, but modern cameras these days are better in handling this problem, and so is post-production software. Secret London number 6 is being planned, and I hope to discover a few more gems that I should have known about already.